Hi, I'm Tina Ann Middleton, author of the Forestville series. I would like to welcome you to the writing journey, where we inspire and encourage each other as we learn the craft of writing. Today we're going to talk about a question. Do you need to have a special gift to write, or can anybody write? We'll be right back. Have you ever heard someone talk about another person having the gift of writing? You know, someone that says, oh, this person just has that special ability to write. A lot of people think that. They think that writing is for this elite few, an elite group with a special gift. But I wonder, is writing only for those special ones with that unique mind? Or do we all have something to write? Now, before we get started, I would like to invite you to subscribe to The Writing Journey. And please ring the bell so you'll be notified when we upload new episodes. Also, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and my Amazon author page. Let's get back to our question. Can just anybody write? Let's look at it at the different ages. Children. Oh my goodness. You know, for a child, each day is a new, wondrous day. There's so many more things to explore and learn. And their little minds are just absorbing all the time. Even when they're older, teenagers, they're learning new experiences, new feelings. So they have quite a fresh perspective on things. You can encourage writing in your children and your teens. For instance, have them write in a journal. And it doesn't just have to be writing their feelings, although that's a good thing too. Because when they write their feelings, they write the things that are happening to them. When they're older, they can look back and see how they've grown. But you can also encourage them to just do creative writing. Write stories. Write comic strips. When our daughters were little, they would write stories about their imaginary friends, about their stuffed animals, and they would illustrate them. Now, the illustrations look like small children did them, but that's their stories. I kept a few of those, and I don't know if I'm going to give them to them. I may keep them myself, because that's really special to look back and see the beginnings of that creativity in our children. So keep those things for your children, that portfolio. Encourage them to write. You know, I've written poems and essays since I was a child, and I kept quite a few of those. The paper is school paper. Some of it's a little hard to read because I wrote it in pencil or pen that faded. And it's kind of special to me, you know, to have that. And that helped me when I got ready to compile my book, Love and Grace. I still had these old poems and essays from when I was a child. And I can also see how I've grown through my writing. Let's look at adults. Now, as adults, we have that life experience. And for many of us, that is a rich source to draw from. We can write stories because we've lived a few things, you know, and we've read, hopefully we've read a lot, and we can draw from our life experiences and from things that we've read. Some people have an advanced education, and that can help them, especially if they're writing how-to kind of books. But I don't think you have to have an advanced education to be able to write. It's my personal opinion. If somebody out there disagrees, comment below. And let's see if we can have a good discussion going on that. But you can take your life experience, whether you've got that education or you just have an education in life. Take that experience and share it with others. Tell them how to do something. Do a cookbook. Write stories, whether they're true stories or something you make up. This is a chance where you get to write something you made up and not be called a liar. You can use your life experience to enrich other people's lives. Now, let's look at older adults. We might call them senior adults, senior citizens. And they have an even greater treasure trove of life experiences to pull from. For instance, my grandmother was born during the time of horse and buggy. Her family came from Virginia in a covered wagon. She loved to tell us about that. But she was born, grew up, and died in a small town in northeast Oklahoma. And had she chosen to write, I'm sure she could have had a lot of stories to tell us. Because she was born in the horse and buggy times, and when she died, we were in the space age. So there's so much there. These older adults can remember what times were like during the post-World War II era, Vietnam, Korea, all of those eras that now we just look at it as history. But for them, they lived it, and they could tell it. Now, somebody might say, oh, I'm too old to start that kind of thing. You know, I can't be sitting down writing books. I'm too old. Well, I don't think there is a too old for that. Many of you know, are familiar with the Little House on the Prairie series. Laura Ingalls Wilder was 65 when she sat down to write that series. Frank McCourt was a teacher who encouraged his students to write. And they turned around and pointed it back at him and told him, why don't you write? And at the age of 66, he wrote Angela's Ashes. I'm going to use myself as an example. I started on my first novel 2 years ago. I was 58 years old. My first novel. And I don't see myself as too old. And if there's someone out there now who's watching me, and you've got a story you want to tell, but you've been thinking you're too old to start, I would say, no, you're not. Sit down and get started. So I believe that writing is not something that's just for this elite group of people with special minds. If you have something to share, a story to tell, write it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Writing Journey. We upload new episodes every Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Now, if you have a topic that you think would be beneficial to new writers, please let me know in the comments below. And if you know someone who wants to be a writer or who is a new writer, please share the link to this channel with them. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you'll join me here again next week. Have a great week.